Okay, so what is Heidegger saying in plain English? Well, I think what he's saying is that the way we look at the world in terms of science, scientific thinking, the thinking of modern science and technology, that is one way of interpreting the world. But it's such a powerful way of interpreting the world, precisely because we can control the world based on it, that it lends itself, with being's permission, uh, it lends itself to be thought as if it were the only way of thinking of things, as if it were the only way of interpreting things, if it were really what things truly are. When we think about them quantitatively and mechanistically, we're really getting at what things really are. So when we think about a human being as a body and physiologically, in terms of neuroscience, in terms of chemicals, that's really what a human being really is. And when we think of human beings poetically and philosophically or religiously, that's not really what they are. Why not? Why not? Well, notice too, built into the idea that that is what things truly are, namely how things ought to be in order for us to manipulate and control them. Built into that is the idea that truth is equated with controllability or manipulability. Why should we think that just because we can control something, that lends itself to a more real or a truer aspect of what something is? And Heidegger thinks built into that is the assumption that truth is equated with mastery or control. Okay? So you see, for Heidegger, he's saying that there are multiple ways to interpret reality. Being is polyvalent. Being shows itself in many ways, except it also shows itself in one particular way that allows us to master it. And because we can master it, we assume that that's the only way. Okay? But this is where Heidegger turns to art, because he thinks not only art, but the beautiful is a way in which we can actually feel, and Kant talked about this too in the third critique, that in the beautiful we actually feel meaning, or we feel purpose. Kant talked about it this way, that in a beautiful reflective judgment, the mind takes in the form, but it can't sort of find the category for it. But the imagination, which takes in the form, gets in a kind of tension or harmony, tensive harmony with the cognitive faculties, and that tension produces pleasure that we call beauty. And he thinks moreover, in that tension where we can't sort of figure something out, but we know that there's something there, we feel purpose or purposiveness without the concept of purpose. So I think Heidegger would agree with that to some extent, namely that in art, in the beautiful judgment, we feel meaning. We're Dasein as in der Weltsein. We're being swimming in meaning. And we have no reason to believe that meaning is subjective other than an assumption that truth is controllable, and anything that we can't control, anything that doesn't fit the gestell or the framework, is somehow not real or not really how things are. And there's no reason to assume that unless you assume it, unless you assume that truth is equated with mastery and controllability, unless you assume ipso facto a Nietzschean and Platonic paradigm. Okay? And this is what Heidegger means when he's trying to twist free of metaphysics. He's trying to twist free from the idea that something is only true or something's only valuable if we can control it. Okay? So being is a text that shows itself in many ways, and it's open to multiple interpretations, and we need to overcome the idea that there is only one true interpretation of things. Okay? And that would be for Heidegger to overcome metaphysics.